The Valley against a long-standing historic Valley powerhouse. Welcome to high school football on CMAC. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Taylor. With me, the coach, Fred Clark. And Fred, there's no bigger surprise in Valley High School football this year than the McLane High School Highlanders.
No doubt about it, Dan. This is a team that has won one game in the last 2 years, and they've only had 2 games that were even close in that period of time. This year, they're out great so far, and I didn't see this coming. Going into the season, I had them winning maybe one game. I figured if they won 3 games, Coach Burnett should be the coach of the year. And what a job he's done in just such a short amount of time.
Well, he's 4-0 coming into tonight as the captains out on the field head toward midfield for the coin toss. And turning things around has kind of become a niche for him. He was a player and an assistant coach before he became the head coach at Yosemite High School up in Oakhurst. And the year before he got there, it was an 0-9 team. His second year, they won 9 games and did a tremendous job. One of the keys, he said, a 7th period weightlifting class and structure, and he did a tremendous job up there at Yosemite High School.
And here at McLane, he only is, I think they're dressing 28 players tonight, but these are young men. They really, he's selling, and he shows he's interested in them, and there's no substitute for hard work. And this has been his pattern at Fraser Mountain, Sierra, Carmen, Yosemite, and now here. A fine coach he is.
The visitors tonight, the Broncos from Dos Palos High School coming in, and their record is, well, let's say they have a lot better talent on the field than what their record thus far shows.
Well, you look at the scores of some of their games, and the only team Chowchilla, and they were competitive in that game. Earlier in the season, 16-13. Dan, that game went 5 overtimes before somebody got a field goal, and happened to be Roosevelt. But they could easily be 3-1 right now, but they are in fact 0-4. And Dos Palos, who is a fixture in Valley playoffs and championships for so many years, they've kind of fallen upon hard times, and they're trying now to turn it around. They have good spirit on their team, and they're trying to get back to the Bill and Mike Sparks style of football. Run it down your throat.
Indeed they are. 3 yards in a cloud at us smash mouth football team. Kevin Jones, their head coach, a former Broncos player, a 1989 graduate of the school, and he prides himself on the style of football that brought 15 Valley championships to the Dos Palos High School trophy case. And you saw just a short time ago the Broncos will kick off as the band now takes their position. The color guard is in the west end zone, about to make their appearance out onto the field for the national anthem, as the players all stand at attention in front of their respective benches, and hats come off, and we will pause and allow the McLane Highlander Marching Band to perform our national anthem here. A lot of festivity, pageantry here, and they had a nice homecoming parade going on the running track just a short time ago before we came on the air. So this should be a very spirited night, both in the stands with the fans and also with these players. Should be a terrific game coming up. Fred, we saw our officials. Do you want to run down the officials there while we're waiting for the band?
The referee is Thomas Pinedo. The umpire is Larry Kanagaki. Head linesman is Cody Wilson. Pat Atkins is the line judge, and the back judge is Renisha Jackson.
From McLane Stadium in central Fresno, this is CMAC High School football, and tonight we have the undefeated McLane Highlanders, the surprise team thus far in Valley High School football, sitting with the undefeated record in the North Yosemite League, and Dos Palos with their storied history, but Dos Palos seeking their first win of the season tonight, but at the same time a team that has a lot of talent and has fought to the wire in 3 of those 4 games.
Well, Dan, with Dos Palos, we were talking earlier in the night, and this is a team, they went 38 seasons without having a losing season. 38, and when Mike Sparks finally retired, I believe it was after the 2011 season, things kind of went downhill, and now they're on their 4th head coach since he's been gone, and hopefully Coach Jones will stick around for a while and get things back to the old tradition. And Dos Palos, I was seeing before the game, they have quite a few people that they brought with them tonight, because there is such an outstanding tradition of Bronco football, and they have not given up on the team at all. And tonight is a great night for football. I think the temperature is probably hovering about 80 degrees now. We have a beautiful moon over the east side of the stadium, and everything's just set up for a great football game tonight.
Indeed, as the 2 teams now come out onto the field, as you see the Broncos in white, they will be going from your left to right. McLane High in the red jerseys, black pants, will be going from your right to left. The Highlanders to kick it off, and the Broncos to receive. And deep to receive for the Broncos, Maximus Rayona, who is one of their 6 captains tonight, along with Isaac Adams, Brock Ruiz, Jared Jones, Nathan Jordan, and Carlos Eniguez. McLane High kicker, a young man with quite a leg.
It's Diego Castro, Dan, and he's one of McLane's best threats, and they like to do this little jump start off on the kickoff. But Castro gives McLane a lot of weapons. Their kicking game has been, well, it's been poor the last couple of years. They have a real good upgrade, and it's obvious that they work on their special teams a lot.
Well, this young man we saw making field goals in preseason from 43 yards out. And the ball is mishandled. And he doesn't get very far. It looks as though he's brought down at about the 12-yard line. Not good field position to begin their first drive of the night as the Dos Palos High Broncos offense comes out onto the field.
We were mentioning about McLane's kicking game. That wasn't kicked deep, but it was kicked high. McLane had good coverage in the Bronco running back. Had trouble handling the ball, and they're in a bad start to begin with. Bad field position at their own 11-yard line.
A couple of terrific running backs on this team. The big horse, number 22, Ronald Johnson. Tyree Martin, wearing number 21, also a young man who has had some big games for the Broncos thus far in the early going of the season.
And they try and go over the left side on there, Dan, and there was nothing doing.
They have a big offensive line, though, and they're all young. They're juniors. They go 255, 260, 300 up front. And they have been very good at opening some big holes thus far on the season, I should say. That's Michael Merrill, number 4, at the quarterback position. They had a quarterback transfer out during the summer to Bakersfield Christian. Put him a bit in the lurch, but at the end of the day, this is a team that if they're going to beat you, they're going to do it on the ground rather than in the air.
No doubt.
Second down and 11 for Dos Palos.
And right after you say that, Dan, Dos Palos throws their first of what promises to be very few passes tonight. That one caught me by surprise. I thought they were going to have a counter play.
That was Michael Merrill to Zane Merrill, tallest player on the field, hauling that one in. And moving that ball out to about the 24-yard line, 23-yard line. Good enough for a first down. It moves the sticks. Pitch goes to Johnson.
You can see the left side of that Dos Palos line. They really had their way with McLane, and when they line up, my God, the size differential is amazing. You didn't see it as much when the teams were warming up, but McLane is not a big team. And Palos just looks like they're much, much bigger. Physical-wise, we'll see what happens.
Ronald Johnson, 9 carries for 109 yards in their game with Washington Union.
And he is going to be gone.
For the races. Johnson will not be caught. "67 yards, Ronald Johnson, and a touchdown for the Los Palos Broncos."
An 89-yard drive in 4 plays. Can't get much better than that for the Broncos.
Let's take another look at this. You watch the blockers up front open the holes.
Little miscommunication with Dos Palos's PAT squad. Their JV team had excellent kicking, so I think we're going to see the same thing here.
Yeah, the Bronco JVs were winners 23-0 tonight. A lot of times that'll give you an idea of what to expect in varsity play a year from now. And the Broncos with a fake, and they complete it for the 2-point conversion.
And the holder on that, Dan, he totally sold the play. I mean, McLane came and it looked like it was going to be blocked. He held that to the absolute last minute before he took off and threw the pass. That was great.
Terrific job as the Los Palos High Broncos now on top 8-0. Very impressive first drive of the Broncos. As we said, they're gonna beat you. It's going to be on the ground with their running game, and of course the 67-yard scoring one by Ronald Johnson puts them up first on the board.
And I absolutely love that. When I see a great special teams play, here's a touchdown replay.
Fred, I think what was very impressive was his patience. A lot of guys will try to hit that hole quick, and you saw him very patiently wait, stutter step his way through the opening, and be able to go all the way to the end zone.
And he just cut across the grain and virtually untouched. There's a few hands that may have tapped him a little bit.
Well, the undefeated McLane Highlanders about to get the ball for their first possession of the night.
Daniel Reyes tees up the ball. Now he gets to kick it.
Well, the return comes out to about the 33-yard line for the Highlanders, so they will start in pretty good field position.
Right about at the 33. That's not a bad place to begin. And the Highlanders, when we see them with the ball, this is what we were talking about earlier. I think we're going to have a rather quick game tonight. McLane will put it up a little bit, but they prefer to keep it on the ground too. They have 2 good running backs with Cunnings and McMichaels.
Give to the tailback, and he stopped at the line of scrimmage. Doesn't appear to be any gain for the Highlanders on that one.
I was confused with the number there. That was Bladen Cunnings with that. And he was stopped for, maybe coughed forward for about 1.5 yards. We've seen with both teams tonight, both teams have the quarterback lining up right underneath center. We don't have any
We'll see that a lot in
pistols.
high school football.
No. I like it.
Give to the up back. He's got the first down. Pushed out of bounds just shy of midfield at about the 40. Still spotted at about the 46-yard line.
And that was McMichaels. And Dan, he's already ran for 4 touchdowns in their first 4 games this season. He's a real load, and they're going to put it in his hands a lot.
So first down for the Highlanders at the 46-yard line. And this is what they do extremely well also, run the football. brought down at about the 47-yard line, 46-yard line. Could be about 4 yards shy of the first down.
Cunning's got up limping a little bit. He's jogging over to the sidelines here. He's going to be coming out for a bit. We'll see this one again.
Cunning's coming off a big game with Yosemite where he had 22 carries for 164 yards and 3 touchdowns.
He got a little bit of a twist there when he went down. Hopefully he won't be out for too long. It's another one that was a rather patient play, waited for a block to develop.
Going to the air. And almost intercepted. We've got a penalty flag. Looks as though pass interference may be called back there. Ball was a little bit underthrown.
It's going to be an interesting call here.
On the defense,
Okay.
15 yards,
On the defense,
results of the penalty, first down.
Perhaps questionable, but not a spot foul, just 15 yards here in high school. As you said, Dan, the ball was a little bit underthrown. Those are always a, judgment call.
Indeed, ball marched on the penalty down to the 32-yard line of the Los Palos Broncos. The Highlanders hustling up to the line of scrimmage here. 8:41 to play in the first quarter. Los Palos sitting on top 8-0. Glad you were with us here on CMAC. Pass complete. And the receiver stepped out of bounds. He'll be about 5 shy of a first down on the far side. So McLane electing to go to the air for a couple of big gains. One via penalty, one via completion.
Surprises me a little bit, you know, when I see back-to-back passing attempts after I go on a little tangent about we're not going to see much passing tonight.
I think your middle name is Jinx. Second down and 5. Cuts back, looks as though he's got first down yardage and then some.
That's Freddie Catania, that little change of pace back. He got first down yardage, got to the outside, showed some speed.
Gets down to the 27-yard line, or I'm sorry, the 17-yard line. McLane mixing it up well on this drive. Their first drive of the evening, playing catch-up after Dos Palos scored on their first possession. And the Highlanders break the huddle. First and 10, ball spotted at the 17. Inside handoff going for no gain. Swarmed by that Bronco defense at the line of scrimmage.
And it looked like McMichaels may have tipped Dos Palos' defense off on that one. I knew that was coming too, Dan. And there may be something the coaches have seen that are giving that away, because they were waiting for him.
So a loss of a yard on the play brings up second down and 11. Going for the fade route, incomplete.
Yeah, Alvarez and Gamez were not on the same page on that one.
So big third down play for the Highlanders here at the 18-yard line. Impressive first drive thus far. Now inside the red zone and hoping to take advantage.
Yeah, the Broncos are playing pass all the way on this.
Just out of the outstretched arms of the receiver, incomplete, brings up a fourth down.
That was Samuel Alvarez, and he got his fingers on it. He just wasn't able to bring it back in.
Quarterback and head coach conferring in front of the far sideline at the 30-yard line, and now the play is brought back into the huddle. And they're going for it here on 4th down and 11.
Got 4 receivers, just a single back.
Rolls to the right, steps up, and
He's
he is
going
fouled.
down.
So the ball's turned over on downs. Dos Palos coming away excited. Their defense celebrating on the field. J.D. Burdett, no doubt, with a bit of a learning session with his quarterback there. A great opportunity to reflect on that drive. A terrific first drive for the Highlanders, but they come away unable to put any points on the scoreboard.
And I like how Dos Palos really played they played that real well, Dan. They really seem to have done their homework right now. They must have spent some time in the film room.
So the Broncos with the ball for the second time tonight take over at the 21-yard line. Give goes to Johnson again,
gone.
and he's off to the races. Johnson will not be caught. 79 yards, touchdown, Dos Palos Broncos.
Well, that Ronald Johnson, 5'8", 155-pound senior, he's got some acceleration on him. Let's see this again. Sept went to the outside, and he was gone.
Well, we saw a pretty nifty two-point try the last time. What will the Broncos do this time? They set up.
They're going to go straight
with
up
the
this
kicking
time.
game, indeed. And the kick is good, and Dos Palos now sits on a 15-0 advantage here.
Well, right now, you and I were talking about statistics and all of this. McLane has totally dominated in time of possession of this game, Dan.
But trails on the scoreboard 15-0. And the Broncos have been looking for a night like this since the middle of August when they kicked off their season. They've been in a lot of games right to the wire in the fourth quarter in which they have battled from behind or been battling right to the final possession. And tonight, jumping out quickly with a couple of big plays. Ronald Johnson, as we mentioned, 24 carries for 59 yards and a touchdown in the game with Roosevelt High, 109 yards on 9 carries. His long as 77-yarder with a touchdown in the game with Washington Union. And tonight, touchdown runs of 67 and 79 yards thus far for the Dos Palos High Broncos.
That is not a bad average per carry, is it?
Not at all. Not at all.
And when he took off, he was just separating himself more and more. That is some breakaway speed he has.
Well, impressive blocking on that left side by the Dos Palos line. We talked about they're young, but the coaching staff very excited about them, particularly looking ahead to the future as this ball will roll all the way into the end zone untouched. And the Highlanders will bring it out on a touchback.
Well, Cunnings was out on that kickoff return, Dan. If you saw that, it looked like he wanted to feel the ball, turned, and I think he's going back to the trainer's table again. And if he doesn't get back into the game for McLane, it could definitely hinder their offense.
He was a big part of their offense last week up in Oakhurst against Yosemite, that 42-13 win. McLane came out. They were a 36-29 winner at Mendota in their opener. Following week here at home with Hanford West, 65-14 winner. And then with Exeter, they pulled out a thriller, 38-35, and then up at Yosemite, a 42-13 triumph last week. Give going up the middle and wrapped up at the knees at the line of scrimmage.
Well, I don't know right now. What we've seen is Dos Palos is coming out firing on both sides of the line, and McLane on offense, it doesn't look like they're able to push Dos Palos off at all. They've had a couple of plays that were for decent gains earlier on, but when their offense sputtered, well, we'll see.
Quick pass. And Alvarez looks to be beyond first down yardage and then out near the 40-yard line.
Initially, it looked like he was going out of bounds there. And Alvarez, it took about, a half a dozen Broncos to eventually wrestle him down to the ground. We'll see this again. Got one off a straight arm, got two, and here 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 Broncos go to the football and take Alvarez down. That Alvarez got some height on him. I like that straight arm. He got about 5 yards just on that alone.
Did a nice job staying on his feet here. 1st and 10 now at the 40-yard line. Highlanders hit as he throws and incomplete.
Yeah, he was double hit there.
That draws a big roar from the crowd on the near side. The Dos Palos fans who've made that drive in to Fresno for this one.
We had talked about the decent-sized crowd they had earlier. You know, you take that hour-and-a-half drive from Dos Palos, and it shows how much the team means to the community. Dos Palos is not a big town, and to get, a crowd like this coming at hour-and-a-half to watch a team that hasn't won yet. Good following.
Absolutely. Great tradition in Dos Palos. Pack the line. And Gaetano brought down for about a 4-yard loss, as you saw Dos Palos load up the box defensively on that one.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of different movement on Dos Palos' defensive front 7.
Brings up about a 3rd and 12 now. Ball spotted at the 37-yard line. Oh, deflected, almost intercepted. And as if he hasn't done enough on offense, that was Ronald Johnson on defense.
It's going to bring up 4th down, and the Highlanders are in a position they don't want to be in right now, punting the ball away.
Broncos with a pair of return men.
Gamez, the quarterback's also the punter for the Highlanders.
That was Merrill who simply just dove on it, downed it. And the Broncos will start their 3rd possession of the night from their 42-yard line.
About a 25-yard punt for McLane and a couple of yard return.
4:30 remaining here in the first quarter. Broncos of Dos Palos on top 15-0 on the McLane Highlanders. Then, of course, in the time of possession, as you alluded earlier, in time of possession, it's no contest. McLane dominating that, but it's been a couple of big plays by the Broncos that have them on the board 15-0. Pitch and a reverse. This is Tyree Martin.
Yeah, it's coming back, though. I think we had a holding penalty on the Broncos right about the time that the ball exchanged hands on that reverse. Could be wrong.
No, you were on the money again.
And that's pretty easy when you're going to get that one about 9 out of 10 times when you see the flag thrown back there.
Great spirit here tonight. Over on the McLane side, good turnout. Big cheer squad.
On the offense, number 72. 10 yards.
This is the best McLane crowd I've seen
1st down.
in many years, Dan.
A lot to be excited about at McLane High when you come out of the gate 4-0. They've had some lean years here, but J.D. Barnett has done a great job here, just as he did at Yosemite High School. Budget cuts, of course, the reason for his departure up there. He had been up there for many years. And this is Johnson again. Pick up of about 8 on that carry. Well, J.D. Barnett had been a principal in the district, a teacher, and then, of course, the head football coach at Yosemite High School in 18-14 in 3 seasons, 2015 to 17. He inherited a 23-game losing streak up there at Yosemite. His first season went 0-9. And in his second, he won 9 games. 2 of those were playoff games. But as we mentioned, budget cuts cost several positions up there, and his was one of them. And that's what brought him to McLane. Going deep. Oh, terrific reach and catch at the 36-yard line.
Another flag down, back in the backfield, and is this coming back? Or is it roughing the passer? Roughing the passer
15
on
yards
McLane.
on the
Add
defense.
another 15 to
They'll
that
be
game.
added to the end of the run. First down, Dos
Not sure
Palos.
if that was Dustin Elrod who made that catch, but a terrific catch that was. Great hands on that play to pull that one in. And we are going to get another look at this, thanks to the guys in the truck.
Yeah, he just wrestled that away. He had a chance to get that stripped away, and 15 more on top of this. And
Going to bring it down to the 21-yard line. And should mention here, we're coming to you on CMAC, Community Media Access Collaborative. And we've got a dozen students from McLane High that are handling the production tonight. Terrific job by these students, getting some valuable experience. As Ryan Ramirez, the senior, on the carry to the near side. He just managed to get back to the line of scrimmage on that one.
Dan, one of these, little known facts. McLean's best season of this century, a few years ago, they were 6-5, and that was their one of their winning, the only winning season they've had this century. They lost in a playoff game to Kerman, coached at the time by J.D. Burnett.
There's Ramirez up the middle. Well, they've had some terrific teams in the past. We can think back of the Marcellus Armstrongs and the Leroy Easters. Armstrong, of course, competed at Fresno State. And then I go back to 1973 when they were the North Yosemite League champions. Larry Mucker, the outstanding receiver, later a standout receiver at Arizona State, and an original member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sam Donabedian on that team, went down and played at USC. And, of course, the quarterback, physician in Fresno, Rod Kraft, very popular member of the community. And McLane and the late Matt McNaughton, the center on that team, went to BYU, came back and finished his eligibility at Fresno State. And the Highlanders jump.
Yeah, well, we have to clarify that Dr. Rod Kraft was not a doctor at the time he was playing for McLean. That did come later.
But he did carve out defenses with surgical precision.
Well played. And at Fresno State, I think as a freshman, didn't he throw for like 5 or 6 touchdown passes?
Indeed. He and Rich Wathan were the two quarterbacks there under J.R. Boone at Fresno State.
Oh, J.R. Boone, that's right.
Al Rose, the coach at McLane High at that time. A terrific team. Here's Johnson again. Keeps the legs churning. He's at the 10. Trying to get that first down on 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2.
He's going to have first down yardage where they marked it, Dan.
It does look that way. He's been the big story tonight. The 2 long touchdown runs, the 3rd down pass deflection on defense. And now
that Highlander team, they won the Valley Championship that season with all of those guys. They had Steve Angelich, who is also a amazing baseball player.
That's right. That's right. Here's Johnson again. Clock down to about 1:17 here. As the Broncos take the ball near the goal line, it will be spotted at about the 4, maybe the 3.
And the Highlanders' defensive front 4, they've had their hands on their hips here. They're not used to this.
Michael Merrill back into the huddle after getting a play from the bench. Inside of a minute, 54 seconds remain here in the first quarter from McLane Stadium. Glad you're with us here on CMAC, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, AT&T, or on Comcast. Loose football. Johnson has it. He evades a tackler, but he is brought down at the 5-yard line.
Quick reflex by Jackson,
Very
picking
quick
that up.
thinking.
That could have been a
Tremendous.
disaster.
Yes.
We have a Highlander down. Well, he's back up. It's number 55, Luis Juarez, defensive lineman, only a sophomore. Dan, on this very small Highlander squad.
So will the Broncos get this play off in time? 10 seconds remain in the first quarter. Pitch to Johnson. He's got room to run, and he is across the goal line for the third time tonight. No, and he was down at the 1. Looked as though he got over.
Now they walk 99 yards to the other side of the field, Dan, as that is the last play of this very bad first quarter if you're a Highlander player, coach, or fan.
A lot of yardage, no points to show for the Highlanders as the Broncos up 15-0 at the end of the first quarter and sitting at the 1-yard line and trying to pad that lead. Glad you've joined us here. We're at McLane Stadium in Central Fresno. Dan Taylor with Fred Clark on CMAC High School football.
You know, Dan, on fourth down, the way Palos is moving the ball right now, I'm going for it. However, if things were a little bit different, I'd take the points right now because you want points quickly like this, and you have an 18-point lead now. That's a 3-score football game.
Absolutely.
But the way the Palos offensive line is manhandling the Highlanders, you've got to feel they have confidence that they can, get a little over a yard here.
So 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. Our first play of the second quarter. Merrill up under center. Johnson dives, and he is over for the touchdown. So Johnson with his 3rd score of the night.
The Palos offensive line, we'll see right here. Look how low they got. Just gave Johnson that opportunity to hurl over the top.
Well, correction on that. That's Brock Ruiz who scored, who dove in rather than Johnson. Brock Ruiz with the score. As after going for 2 on their initial try, this time they will attempt a single extra point.
Is good.
Point is good. So the Broncos extend their lead 22-0 at the 11:50 mark here to begin the second quarter of play. Some big games up and down the valley tonight. And Fred, you were going to say before I was so rudely interrupted?
Well, I'm going to try and get a couple of scores. I know De La Salle, who's I think 12th ranked nationally, 3rd in the state of California. They're coming in to play Buchanan, and I don't have a score on that yet. I will before too long. Huge opportunity for Buchanan and Central Valley football, but De La Salle beat Bishop Gorman of Las Vegas last week, who's always one of the national powers and far and away the best team in Nevada. And it's going to take all the Bears can do. They have to play their absolute best game, and not knowing what's going on out there right now, I don't think it's a real good matchup for the Bears. I hope that I'm wrong.
Well, we've got a penalty.
On the offense, number 10,
penalty,
10 yards.
That is going to push
Retry.
this one back to the 20, and the Broncos will attempt their extra point from the 20-yard line.
A 30-yard extra point attempt.
And the try is good. So does Palos on top now in the early stages of the second quarter, 22-0 over McLane. And we certainly appreciate all of you who have joined us on CMAC, whether it be on Comcast Channel 94 or AT&T Channel 99, on YouTube or on Facebook. CMAC, Community Media Access collaborative. CMAC offers training and opportunity. We're located in the Met Building downtown, programming to Comcast and ATT. You can check out our website at cmac.tv, where you'll find information on their classes and their events. And as we mentioned earlier, a dozen students from the digital production class here at McLane High are on our crew tonight, and we thank them for doing so, and excited to see them gaining experience here that will help them, no doubt, as they try to enter the profession down the road.
And Dan, you can go on that CMAC website. You can see all of the games that we've done. You can even see some of the baseball games, high school baseball games from last spring. All kinds of great sports entertainment on CMAC.
Absolutely. These games usually posted on that on-demand page on the website on Tuesdays, but they remain up there, so you can see the games throughout the season and from last spring as well. Oh, a fumble. And the upback just dives on the football, smothers it at the 24-yard line.
Well, another opportunity for the Highlanders to make something happen.
So they begin the drive just inside the 25-yard line. Last time out, going to the air, initially coming out attempting to generate a ground game, and now working on the pass attack.
McLane did not look comfortable passing the ball.
Trips to the near side. Running back just got back to the line of scrimmage.
And he was fortunate to fall forward there, because Palos had great penetration. They had 4 guys in there as soon as the ball was snapped. That play was blown up right away. Actually, he got about a half a yard gain on that, Dan.
Indeed, they do spot it across the 25. They're going to go to the air. And it's deflected out of the hands of the intended receiver, incomplete.
That was Samuel Alvarez, the Alvarez connection. 2 junior wide receivers. McLane's in that real bad spot of 3rd and long.
3rd and long once again for the Highlanders. 3rd and 9 to be exact. Going to the air, complete, but about 3, maybe 4 yards shy of the first down marker. And you can see the Broncos, with each tackle, springing up with more and more enthusiasm and confidence.
No doubt. Yeah, they're really feeling it here with some of those heartbreaking losses they've had early in the season.
Yeah, the return unit comes out onto the field for the Broncos, deep on the near side, Zane Merrill. And it's over Zane Merrill's head. He'll let it roll. And it'll roll dead and be downed at the 24-yard line. So that's where the Broncos will begin their latest possession as they sit on a 22-0 lead to 10:30 to go here in the second quarter.
They have to be feeling pretty good about themselves right now. They've had 3 possessions and put 22 points on the scoreboard.
Well, now they're at a point where they can just run the football. They can make the clock their 12th man.
What a great feeling that is, too. The 3 games that Palos have lost has been by a total of 10 points.
Here's Johnson to the near side, cuts back. He breaks into the clear. Spins around away from a tackler who grabs him by the ankles and just does bring him down at the McLane 36-yard line. Big gain once again for Ronald Johnson, who is having a tremendous night tonight.
That's a mild understatement, isn't it?
And every one of those runs has gone to the left side.
Quick acceleration. The only critique I have, he needs to get that ball in the other arm.
Thought the same thing. Nice spin job on the defender. Looked as though maybe he was going to be able to break free, but the defender did a nice job of wrapping him up. Timeout taken by the Highlanders. And the two teams will gather around their coaching staffs for instructions. McLane, as we mentioned, Dos Palos has come out, and as Fred just alluded, has been a frustrating start to the season. They opened in their West Side War, their traditional rivalry game with Los Banos. And Los Banos pulled that out late, 26-20. They have not beaten Los Banos in the last 4 years, had them late before they fell. A week later, it was here in Fresno to play Roosevelt. That again, another tough one, 16-13 the final score. They then had Washington Union in a 1-point loss there, 20-19. Last week with Chowchilla, that was the only real lopsided game they've been in. They lost that one 41-13 to the Redskins.
That game against Roosevelt that went 5 overtimes, they missed a couple of field goals in overtime too. And it was just, I thought that game wasn't going to be over till 2 o'clock in the morning the way it was dragging.
Ruiz and Martin in the backfield behind Merrill. Martin with the handoff. Cuts back. He's got some room and looks like enough to get a first down.
Well, you mentioned this earlier, Dan. Dos Palos is just, they have had their way going to the left side, and McLane seems to have no answer for it at all. They seem to still be playing in their base. I'm not sure, but they're going to have to make some defensive adjustments.
Well, the Broncos have identified a matchup or a mismatch there, and they're taking advantage now. 1st and 10 at the 23-yard line. Merrill up under center. Give goes to Tyree Martin. Spins free.
This one's coming back.
Pushed out of bounds.
We have flags here.
Inside the 5, but you're right, Fred. There are some flags on the field, and it could be very well coming back.
I think we're going to have a holding penalty.
Indeed, that's the signal.
So we got holding on 3.
Well, the holding penalties haven't caused Broncos too much of a problem.
Holding.
Giving them 20 yards.
On the offense, number 3, 10
gives
yards.
them a little bit more of a challenge. So
Replay
far
first
tonight,
down.
they met it. We talked about Roosevelt too. They're undefeated at this point, and they have a big challenge out in Kerman tonight. I have no idea how that one's coming out either, but it surprises me because Roosevelt is not a big team. I thought they were real similar to McLane. Size-wise, they have maybe a little bit bigger and a few more athletes. Have got a little bit more depth, but I'm real surprised at what I'm seeing right now.
Well, the McLane 34-yard line. Merrill winds up. He's got a receiver, and the defensive back closes and deflects this one away.
Yeah, he had his man open there for a couple of seconds. It just couldn't lead him quite enough.
Terrific job by the Highlanders defensive back to knock that ball away.
Yeah, Alvarez got his hand up there just in the nick of time. Second, we'll still call it 21.
9:02 until the half. Broncos up to the line of scrimmage. Need to get to the 12 for a first down.
Screen.
Adams. He's to the 23-yard line.
You could see that developing all the way, Dan. You knew before McLane's third guy was in there, this is going to be a screen pass.
3rd and about 12, it looks like.
A little bit more manageable now. I'd call it 8, but we'll see here. And I'm calling this 4-down territory for Dos Palos at this stage.
Pitch going to Martin, and he's trying to shirk the defender, and he is not going to be able to do it. Looks as though maybe he lost a yard on the play.
Julian Munoz, he did a good job just holding on for a minute till he could get a little bit more grip and bottom down. Big play for the Highlander defense if they can hold him this time.
Well, the offense staying back out on the field on 4th down.
Well, you're definitely not going to punt when it's at the 24-yard line, and I guess they're figuring it's just out of his range for a field goal.
Ball spotted at the 24, and I believe they have to get to about the 12 for the first down. Merrill gonna throw. Let's fly. And we've got a penalty flag.
Again, without the seeing that on the replay, I don't know. Well, it doesn't matter what I think. There's definitely going to be a penalty called. It's not going to be helpful to the Highlanders if it goes on them.
Pass interference on the defense. Number 6.
There you see it. Pass
15
interference
yards.
called against the Highlanders.
First down.
And the Broncos get their first down. And the ball is marched to the 12-yard line. Half the distance to the goal line. So 1st and 10, Dos Palos from the 12-yard line. Johnson replacing Martin to the backfield. He gets the handoff. Might get a yard at most, but I don't think he managed anything on that. Terrific job by the defense getting in there to trip him up.
You know, Luis Suarez got in there, got low, was able to make the play.
.650 remaining here in the second quarter. Dos Palos on top 22-0. Second down, the 12-yard line. Highlanders jumped again, and it looks as though the Broncos receiver, Zane Merrill, may have been the true guilty party. The officials are going to talk it over.
Yeah, they didn't get the ball snapped. If they would have snapped the ball a little bit quicker, it was going to be on McLane. He got back, and then Merrill moved. Coaches love seeing plays like that on film when they're the ones that get caught for it.
What do we got, defense? Snap. We have encroachment on the defense. 5 yards,
Yeah, Dan,
remaining
can you
second
imagine
down.
like a Woody Hayes?
Penalty is called against the Highlanders.
Well, I had to discuss it a little bit. Can you imagine Woody Hayes and Bo Schembechler on the same coaching staff when one of them was a position coach, like Schembechler being a position coach and something like that would be a chair fight in the film room. Second and about 6. Yeah, uh-oh.
Here's Johnson again. His 3rd score of the night. Ronald Johnson from 7 yards out scoring for the Dos Palos High Broncos as they jump up now 28-0.
That Johnson, he just goes in one direction, cuts, and goes back across with hardly getting touched. Let's see this again. Goes out. Oh, yeah.
Very impressive blocking. Huge hole by that offensive line. Johnson takes full advantage.
Yeah, Dan, I think I could have ran that one in.
I don't know.
Well,
you're starting to stretch here a little bit. Fred.
Positive gain, though, but it wouldn't have been maybe not a touchdown.
Daniel Reyes converts the extra point, and that extends the Dos Palos lead to 29-0 at the 6:22 mark here in the second quarter.
This big McLane crowd for their homecoming. This could be the biggest exodus at halftime I've seen in a high school game in a while.
A couple of gleaming tubas across the way in Section X, and I don't think I've heard them all night.
No, the fight, they haven't broken into the fight song since the team came out onto the field. Tough night so far for McLane.
So watching this running game of the Dos Palos Broncos, it just conjures up memories. This is a program that has been built on not only some of the greatest athletes in the history of Central Valley High School football, but also some of the great talents at running back. And we go back to Dean Collins, who shone at Boise State later. The great David Henderson, who was a tremendous athlete at Dos Palos High School. He had signed a letter of intent to play football at Fresno State. That never came to pass because he was the first-round draft choice by the expansion Seattle Mariners, and went on to a very long and successful major league career with the Mariners, the Oakland A's, the Boston Red Sox, and sadly passed away just a few short years ago.
And what a nice person he was.
Oh, he was tremendous.
Always smiling, always had a good word for everybody.
Can do, absolutely. Kenny James went on to star at the University of Washington. The Davis brothers, Rodney and Marquet, and I'll tell you, when the news came out this week that the Washington Nationals were going to align with the Fresno Grizzlies, one of the first guys I thought about was the youngest of the Davis brothers, Leonard, who had a nice baseball career, played at Fresno City College, and then signed and was in the Nationals farm system, got up to AAA. Very talented, very athletic family. You go way, way back, and you can go to the 60s and talk about Earl Austin. When Bill Scheidt was the coach there, Bill Sparks was the coach there at Dos Palos. Just some of the greatest players in Central Valley High School football history have come through that program.
Earl Austin, you're right.
Give up the middle. That swarming defense prevents that play from getting anything.
That was McMichaels again, and that was real tough sledding. Dos Palos, Dan, I remember this. I think it was 2002. They played a memorial for the small school championship, and Dos Palos was hot because they had to come to Fresno to play the championship game despite having a better record than Memorial and having pretty much the same schedule. And Dos Palos came in, it was 69-7 in their favor. Kenny James he ran wild.
Quarterback hit as he throws, it's incomplete. At the beginning of Kenny James's senior year, Lorenzo Booker at St. Bonaventure down in Ventura County, he and Kenny were regarded as the two top high school running backs in the country. And the schools arranged a season opening game. Well, prior to that game, the two schools each wanted to scout one another. So the Dos Palos coaches found out that St. Bonaventure was going to have a scrimmage on the particular night down in Ventura County. So they got in the car and drove all the way down. And when they got to the field, it was locked and dark. And they found a security guy and asked him when the scrimmage was going to be held. And the guy said, well, the coaches canceled it because they heard that Dos Palos team was going to scrimmage, and so they drove up to Dos Palos. So the two coaching staffs probably passed one another somewhere on the freeway. And neither got to see a scrimmage.
That would be beyond frustrating.
Once again, 29-0 our score. Dos Palos on top of McLane here at McLane Stadium. 5:27 to play in the second quarter.
McLane's getting ready to punt the ball away for the third time tonight.
4th and 9 there at the 25. He will roll this one. And Zane Merrill gathers it in, and he's brought down at the 46-yard line.
Good coverage on the short punt for McLane, but great field position for Dos Palos. Beginning their fifth drive of the night.
Earl Riley, another former Bronco, went on and played at Washington State.
We said there, 38 straight seasons without a losing season.
15 Valley championships. It's got to be one very big trophy case at that school. And a community brimming with a lot of pride. So the Broncos begin the drive at their own 46-yard line, leading 29-0, 5:20 to play until the half. Up the middle, this is Adams. He's in the clear. Defensive back closing and bringing him down at the 16-yard line.
Didn't have quite the breakaway speed that Johnson did, but he still parlayed that one onto about a 40-yard gain.
Very impressive. Counting down to about the 5-minute mark here. Dos Palos now threatening to score once more. 1st and 10 from the 16 for the Broncos. Michael Merrill brings his teammates up to the line of scrimmage. He'll work up under center. Give goes to the up man. Untouched. Isaac Adams with a touchdown. Isaac Adams from 16 yards out at the 4:34 mark. And we have got Dos Palos sitting on a 35-0 lead.
Who would have thunk it, Dan?
Exactly what I was about to say. This is not the kind of a game we envisioned coming in. But then again, this is only the second quarter of football tonight.
You know, I'm not going to say it could get worse for the Highlanders because, you know, 5 possessions, 5 touchdowns for the Broncos.
Ray's kick is good, and that extends the lead to 36-0 now. Just a little over 4:30 to play here until the half. There's plenty of fight, though, in the Highlanders across the way. They didn't get to be 4-0 without having plenty of fight. Glad you're with us here, whether you're tuned in on ATT, Comcast, YouTube, or Facebook, or logged in to CMAC.tv. Seeing some terrific high school football tonight. The Dos Palos Broncos, we knew they were a team ready to burst loose. They had a lot of close games thus far this season. Their talent level didn't really mesh with their 0-4 record. Is there another look at Adams' untouched run into the end zone?
Well, in that West Sierra League that they play in right now, what I've seen right now tonight, I'd have to establish them the favorite, something I may not have done a little while ago, like an hour ago.
It'll be taken by one of the up men. Hit, spins, hit again at the 30.
Well, Dan, I finally got a couple of scores. Arroyo Grande's ahead of Bullard 14-0 over at Ratcliffe Stadium, and out at Buchanan, De La Salle has a 28-13 lead on Buchanan. Both those games also, late in the second quarter.
Thanks, Fred. So the Highlanders beginning their latest drive at the 32-yard line. Oh, that was close to being sprung. If he had been able to evade that one, I don't want to say tackler, but more like tripper.
Yeah.
There might have been some yardage ahead for him.
Yeah, it looked like he was really building up ahead of steam, and instead it's 2nd and 10.
And the enthusiasm continues to grow out there on the Dos Palos sideline and among their 11 players out on the field.
Well,
2nd and 10 from the 33. Quick pass out of the outstretched arms of the wide receiver. Incomplete. And now 3rd down.
Boy, since McLane's first 2 possessions, Dan, they haven't really got to do anything. It seems like they're, 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 10 most every time. They just don't have any fire right now. .352 until halftime.
You see the marching band in the upper left corner of your screen as they're preparing for their halftime show. Quick out pass and just gets back to the line of
Ball's
scrimmage.
Loose.
And it is turned over to Dos Palos.
Well, you can see him trying to strip him there while he was still up.
So with 3:40 to play here in the second quarter, the Broncos gain possession of the football once again, sitting on a 36-0 advantage. They will start this drive from the 32-yard line.
Plenty of time.
Michael Merrill, the quarterback, up under center. Off the reverse. This is Martin trying to evade the tackler, and he is going to be brought down for a loss of a couple of yards.
You know what, Martin stopped, Dan, and tried to make the cut. Now we're going to have unsportsmanlike conduct, and this is just going to add to McLane's woes. They're already walking backwards. Something unpleasant was said.
Officials at the right side of your screen talking this penalty over before making the signal and giving us the indication and marching it off.
We have dead ball, personal foul on the offense. We have dead ball, personal foul on the defense. Those penalties offset, remain second down.
Still first down. I just got a text. I'd relayed the score over to Ratcliffe. That was 36-0, Dos Palos, and I got it back. You mean McLane? Said, no, Dos Palos, DP, 36-0. Shocking.
I would imagine this is going to surprise a number of people all around the Valley tonight. 3:07 to play here in the second quarter. That's Ryan Ramirez with the carry.
We're sharing this section of the press box here at McLane Stadium with the McLane film crew and their coaches up in the box, and it's not very festive up here right now.
Ball spotted at the 28-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 7 for the Broncos. Merrill surveying the defense. Ruiz and Ramirez in the backfield. Quick pass going out to Martin. Tries to turn it up, get that first down, and he is going to be close.
If Martin made that, then, yeah, which he did, he got that arm out and he just kept the legs moving. He didn't go down at first contact. He just kept pushing and churning his legs, and that's what got him the first down.
2 minutes and 13 seconds till halftime. Broncos trying to march their way for one more score, leading 36-0 on the undefeated McLane Highlanders here from McLane Stadium. Ruiz and Ramirez behind Merrill in the backfield. And Merrill's going to be sacked for about a 5-6 yard loss.
That gave the McLane side a chance to at least clap their hands a few times. See this again.
Good job of the McLane defense getting the pressure in there. And
fumble.
Ramirez lost the handle on the football, but was able to get it back.
And the Highlanders look like They had landed on it, just squirted out from underneath them.
That's right. A minute to play here in the second quarter. Clock counting down till halftime. Looking at a third down. And we've got a timeout taken. So the Broncos come to the near sideline. Highlanders going over to speak to their coaches. 51 seconds remain in the first half of play. This has been all Dos Palos High Broncos as they sit on a 36-0 lead.
We'll see this fumble again.
He lost it on the exchange. Looked as though the defensive lineman from the Highlanders was going to get his mitts on it, but Ramirez was able to reach back and grab it.
Yeah, Ulysses Sanchez looked like he was just about to grab it, then that hand just came and scooped it.
Third down and 19 from the 29-yard line. Last third down attempt was a little swing pass out that went for the first down. What will the Broncos try this time? There you see another look, different angle. .51 seconds left here in the first half. 36-0 Broncos sitting on top. Merrill to give to Ramirez. He shirks the tackler. Heads to the far sideline. Shirks the second tackler. Penalty flags are flying. And he is ridden out of bounds. Picked up about 7 yards on that carry.
Another holding penalty, it would appear, on
more than
Dos
likely.
Palos.
Yeah. And that's indeed the call.
We have block in the back on the offense, number 12, 10-yard penalty from the spot. Replay
Well,
third
holding's
down.
the call. That'll move it all the way back to the Highlander 36-yard line.
Like 27 yards to go for the first down. At least.
31 seconds left on the clock and counting. Little play action going to the air. He's got a receiver, 2 defenders. It is hauled in by Zane Merrill for a first down. No, shy of the first down. It's it back to the original line of scrimmage at the 19-yard line.
Hey.
Needed to get down to the 10, I believe.
Yeah, fourth down and manageable, and that's, did Dos Palos get a timeout called in time? Or is that? Well, I haven't seen a signal that's half. I think Dos Palos got a timeout called.
The umpire has signaled that he gave them timeout. And they're motioning to the clock operator to put a couple of ticks. 7 seconds will be put back up on the clock. So Broncos will have fourth down. And it looks like about
Call it about 7.
I was going to say 7 or 8. Watch this terrific grab. Just reached up and managed to get those big mitts on the ball and haul it down between 2 defenders.
In double coverage, somebody over the top, somebody underneath, and he still pulls it in.
36-0 our score. Broncos on top roughly. Well, they're going to go for the field goal. They show no time on the clock. This is Daniel Reyes, who will attempt a 35-yard field goal to end the first half here from McLane Stadium.
Blocked, partially blocked.
Partially blocked.
Oh, he was in the end zone.
Touchback, and that's going to end the first half of play. Oh, interesting. It looks like an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. The McLane player, rather than hand the ball or toss the ball to the official, punted it out of the back end zone. And the official immediately threw a penalty flag.
Now they're probably going to get another shot at it. And he's Well, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to speculate, Dan.
Waiting for
We
the
have
call.
a touchback on the scrimmage kick. After the play, we have a delay of game on the receiving team. That's 5 yards. 1st and 10 for McLane.
Couldn't quite pick up all of that.
Well, I couldn't pick up any of it. Okay, I understand what happened now. The play was over before the penalty, so McLane has one untimed down. You can't end on a penalty like that, and now Dos Palos is taking another timeout.
So the two teams gather around their coaches. This will be the last play of the half. Dos Palos leading it 36-0.
Okay, is McLane going to try and go for broke and just air it out or take a knee and go and lick their wounds?
So thus far, the big play has been the difference as we had Ronald Johnson get this one going with a 67-yard scoring run. He came right back on Dos Palos' next possession with a 79-yard touchdown run to extend the lead to 15-0, and that's how the first quarter finished up. And in the second quarter, Brock Ruiz on a 1-yard dive up it to 22-0. Johnson going 7 yards for his third score of the night, made it 29-0. And the 16-yard run by Adams completed our first half scoring at 36-0. Final play, Highlanders on the handoff. Dancing his way up to the 34-yard line, but that's how we end the first half of play here from McLane Stadium. Very surprising first half of play. Highlanders coming in undefeated, unable to score in this first half, and the winless Dos Palos Broncos putting 36 points up on the board. That is your score at our intermission from McLane Stadium. We will be back in a bit with our second half. Glad you're with us. Stay with us here for more high school football on CMAC.